Lost my agenda. I think we're there, December 13th. Just a minute, I'm just, 23rd. The whole thing just closed down on me. Okay, I am set again. The December 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Richmond Sanitary District Board of Commissioners is called to order. The first item of business is approval of board minutes from December 4th of 2025.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi.
motion for approval of board minutes from December 4th, 2025 as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve the board minutes as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business is approval of invoices from check dates December 5th and 12th of 2025.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion for approval of invoices from check dates December 5th and 12th, 2025. The total amount was $177,376.62. There were two notables. First one being from Pyramid Equipment, Inc. in the amount of $55,147.91. And the second one was from U.S. Geological Survey in the amount of $13,250.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve invoices from check dates December 5th and 12th of 2025 totaling $177,376.62. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the director's report. Do either of you have anything to say on behalf of Pat? Oh, Pat's here. We'll go ahead to item number 4 and come back to Pat. Item number 4 is the recommendation to reject the bids for the Baylor compactor. And I assume we just need a motion.
Yes, Madam President, board member, it is our recommendation to reject the quotes for the Baylor compactor equipment. The quotes were received at our last board meeting. We plan to review the specifications and send them out again very soon.
And I will entertain a motion.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi.
motion for recommendation to reject bids for the Baylor compactor as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to reject the bids for the Baylor compactor as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Do you want to pop in it, Director, or should I go ahead another item?
Either ways.
Okay. If you're ready, we're ready.
The director's report. There's not a lot. We are finishing up leaves. We did get back the fully executed AFSCME contract, which we know we signed here, but is fully executed at this point in time. And that's about it unless there are questions.
Thank you very much. We'll move on then to item number 5, which is the recommendation to enter into the interlocal agreement for the education coordinator.
Yes, Madam President and Board. Before you have an updated version of this interlocal the sanitary district has utilized for several years. There are some changes to this, though. Notably, the percentage that the district is paying went from 30 to 50%. As you're aware, the county dissolved the WUR, which used to be another 30% contributor to this position. With the district's efforts with recycling, as well as updates to the stormwater program, for this point in time, we felt we could absorb 20 more percent. There is no assistant position, though. So our overall monetary commitment is about the same, but we've picked up that extra time from the coordinator to be able to utilize for, again, that extra stormwater pieces and the district's recycling efforts.
Okay.
You'll notice, too, that it's set at 1 year specifically. We're used to sort of auto-renew, depending on salary issues. But this is set for 1 year as we evaluate from those changes how that fallout goes with the new program. And what does that mean from, there's time to initiate a program or build a program, and then there's to maintain a program. So we know that's going to be changing, so we're in continuous kind of efforts to reevaluate those percentages, but this is what it'll be for 2026.
We've gotten several grants for the recycling. Would any of those cover personnel?
Some of them have the ability to. The ones we've applied for really did not cover that. In this case specifically, depending on how we do it, the WR, or the county still has funds from the WR. So some of that goes towards these efforts. So if we do any recycling effort that's broader than the district, particularly, the WR funds would be utilized to help cover that. So there is still some play with that, and again, we don't have that fully mapped out yet, how that all connects to each other, but the goal is to kind of push forward with that and try to make a big, broader, still keep the idea of county recycling and collaboration there in some shape or form. The other aspect to that is you'll see if you go through there, because we up to 50%, we get like another member on the Education Outreach Committee and some more direct oversight. So there is those aspects
Okay,
as well.
thank you. I will entertain a motion.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
recommendation to enter into the interlocal agreement for the education coordinator as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to enter into the agreement, the interlocal agreement for the education coordinator position as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to award the quote for the salt spreader.
Yes, Madam President, board member, at our December 4th board meeting, we received a quote for a new Boss BVX Plus 2-yard auger spreader for our maintenance department. I do want to note that we did send out more than just one quote, but we only had one that was received on time. I have reviewed the quote, and it is my recommendation to the board to award this Boss VBX Plus 2 auger spreader to Hoosier Battery of Richmond, Indiana, at the installed cost of $9,010. Hoosier Battery was the lowest and most responsive and responsible company to quote this item.
Thank you. And I will entertain a motion on that.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion for recommendation to award quote for salt spreader as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to award the quote for the salt spreader as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to purchase signage for the billing office.
Yes, Madam President, board member. As you all know, the billing office is located at 25 North 7th Street. We do have a small sign there, just letting people know what it is, but we do need to get a larger sign letting people know who is in the building and what it is, that it is the billing office. Denise sent out quotes to several different vendors. We only had 2 respond, Denise Johnson and I, which is the billing office manager, met with Green Sign of Greensburg, Indiana, and also A+ Signs of Richmond, Indiana. We also talked about several different styles of sign, and they ranged in low cost to very high cost, and so we just decided to do just a plain sign rather than an informational electric sign. We did receive quotes from both places. We have reviewed each quote, and it is our recommendation to the board to award these new sign designs and installation to A+ Sign of Richmond, Indiana, at the cost of $7,480. Once again, A+ Sign was the lowest and most responsible company to quote this project.
Thank you. Questions or a motion?
Would this be a permanent, like, is this,
It is a permanent sign, and it's actually gonna be a corner sign, so they'll be able to see it from the street and also from the front
Nice.
and also from the back. And then by the door, there'll be a smaller sign there with information on that also.
Thank you. Motion?
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to purchase the sign for our billing office as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to award the purchase of the signage for the billing office as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to enter into the agreement with Bader Mechanical for on-call services.
Yes, Madam President, board member, I failed to put on the recommendation here that we did have the option to renew a contract with an addendum with the on-call services with Bader Mechanical. These services include electrical service and repair, fiber optic service and repair, and HVAC and plumbing service and repair. So I'm asking the board to award or continue this agreement with them through addendum number 2 for the 2026 year. The contracts are, the addendum number 2 will be for contract number 50, 2022, that's the electrical. Contract 52, 2022, that's the fiber optic. And then contract number 54, 2022, that's for our HVAC and plumbing. And I have attached the new rates as presented, and we are in agreement with those new rates.
The header also says an option to redo 2027. So
Yes,
should we
I'm
do that
sorry.
as well?
Yes, we'll have the option to do that in 2027 also.
Okay. At which time we would get new rates.
We'll get new rates if we'll send out a new request or a new
Okay.
rate sheet, and then if they, yes. And that'll be brought back to the board also.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments or a motion?
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to enter into agreement with Bader Mechanical for on-call services as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to enter into the agreement with Bader Mechanical for on-call services as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve wastewater residuals disposal permit for K&K Excavating, expiring 11/1 of 2028. Just,
Go for approval.
yeah.
President Miller? Motion.
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation for approval of the wastewater residuals permit for K&K Excavating, which will expire on 11/1/2028.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve wastewater residuals disposal permit for K&K Excavating, expiring 11/1 of 2028. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve wastewater discharge permit for Holland Colors, expiring 11/23 of 29.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for approval of recommendation for the wastewater discharge permit for Holland Colors expiring 12/23/2029 as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve wastewater discharge permit for Holland Colors, expiring 12/23 of 29. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve general discharge permit for City of Richmond with IWM Consulting Group, expiring 12/23 of 26.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to approve the general discharge permit for City of Richmond with IWM Consulting Group, which expires on December 23rd, 2026, as presented.
And I will second the motion. This is a little different than our usual. Somebody want to?
Yeah, I can elaborate on
Okay.
this a little bit, to the extent that I know. So the city of Richmond does own the former Warfield oil site, but there are several to do in the efforts to clean that up. They have this IWM consulting group that has worked on this. They've recently sent over, there's a lot of water in the old like basement area of that area. They sent over all the testing results. There were a few things that we had to ask for some different detection levels. There was really not much in the water at all. Nothing of concern to us, but being a municipality that also does land application of biosolids, right, we have to look at not just certain water rules, we also have to sometimes factor in soil rules or different things like that. So, but we had it run with all the detection limits, had it run a couple test further times with new detection limits, but everything came down below detection limits of anything that would be of any risk to the sanitary district. But in that evaluation, right, we also judge whether it should go to stormwater
Okay.
in a case of a remediation effort, because a lot of that's probably rainwater or groundwater that ran into this, right? So if it had nothing in it, technically by rules, it should go to stormwater. But just because of the site, the nature of this site, they would have had to acquire an NPDES permit from IDEM to go stormwater, and just different aspects. It was easier to put it in and more fitting to put it into the sanitary sewer side, so it'll come to the treatment plant for cleaning. But yes, it is odd in the fact that
Okay.
we're issuing it to the city, but it's a
Right.
city-owned property at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think we did all the preliminaries. So all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is, if I can find it down here, recommendation to approve change order number 9, the final to contract 197-2017 with Brackney for the Northwest 13th Street project.
President,
Yep, go ahead.
oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Did I skip one?
Yeah, Madam President, Board, this
Okay.
is actually, there's two change orders on the agenda. And if you remember a year and a half ago, we had some leftover funding through SRF on this project, as well as the West Side Interceptor. And so we shifted some budget. We normally do lining and rehab every year and have a contract go out and bid that. And so we took that out of the budget, and instead of using cash for that work, we took this low-interest money. That way we could just shift those funds to a different project. But when we did the change orders to divvy up what work was being done through Northwest 13th Street versus what was being done through West Side Interceptor, the amounts ultimately needed to be changed a little bit here at the end. And so we are taking out $966.87 from the Northwest 13th Street project and moving that to the West Side Interceptor project, based on how much was left in Northwest 13th. So it's my recommendation to approve this change order number 9 with Brackney Incorporated for the Northwest 13th Street Interceptor project, to reduce the project by $966.87, bringing the new total contract price to $11,533,268.63.
Thank you. And I will entertain a motion.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to approve change order number 9, the final to contract 197-2017 with Brackney for the Northwest 13th Street project as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve change order number 9, final to contract 197-2017 with Brackney for the Northwest 13th Street project. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then the next item of business is the recommendation to approve change order number 9 to contract 72-2021 with Brackney for the West Side Interceptor project. And
Yeah, so
Just-
same thing, my recommendation to approve this change order to Brackney for West Side Interceptor. increasing the contract by $966.87, bringing the new contract price to $4,840,366.24.
And a motion for that.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to approve change order number 9 to contract 72-2021 with Brackney for the West Side Interceptor Project as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve change order number 9 to contract 72-2021 with Brackney for the West Side Interceptor Project. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve reimbursement agreement with CenterPoint Energy.
Yes, Madam President and Board. This is part of our levy project that we're working on at the wastewater treatment plant. There are some utility relocations that are required as part of that, one of those being our gas line that comes into the treatment plant. There's actually 2 lines there, but one of them is a main and will require reimbursement as well as a modified easement for the line. I will say I don't know that this is going to be the final agreement that gets signed, and so it's my recommendation to approve an agreement with the gas company for this work in an amount of reimbursement amount of $54,922.27, but that the final agreement get either drafted or approved by the law department prior to executing.
What do I say? So can we just approve the reimbursement agreement pending approval by law department?
Yes, that sounds perfect.
Rather than put them out? Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Recommendation to approve the proposed reimbursement agreement with CenterPoint Energy pending approval by law as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve reimbursement agreement with CenterPoint Energy pending approval of law department. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve resolution for the SRF authorized signatory.
Yes, Madam President and Board. This is something we've done in the past. We haven't done a recent one, so SRF asked that we do this and include Tracy McGinnis, the controller. We did not have one that included her. So this basically just allows both Yusu and Tracy to sign on behalf of the district and the city for any kind of SRF document. So that's my recommendation to approve this resolution, allowing you and Tracy to sign those documents for SRF. We don't have a resolution number yet, but we will follow up and get that so it can be added to this.
But basically, that's for no specific agreement at this point in time?
Correct. I mean, it's ongoing, so every time we submit an invoice for payment or a disbursement request to SRF, Tracy signs those. And so that would be the main thing ongoing right now that would be used for. But it would really be allowed for anything that comes out of SRF.
Motion.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi.
Motion for recommendation to approve resolution for the SRF authorized signatory as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve the resolution for the SRF authorized signatory as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to miscellaneous, and I understand we have an item of rebuild of the primary pump.
Yeah, well, I did say primary pump, but it is our backwash pump that
Okay.
We actually use it to clean our sand filter beds in our tertiary building. This is a 150 horsepower Alice Chalmer pump. I did have to call S&K Equipment. They are the service center for these Alice Chalmer pumps. S&K did give us a quote of $23,956 to dismantle the pump, completely rebuild it with new bearings and new mechanical seals. We do have another pump. We have redundancy, but we need to get this one fixed just in case the other one would go down. So it is my recommendation to the board to move forward with S&K Company to rebuild this backwash pump at the cost of $23,956.
Thank you. Any questions or a motion?
So with the rebuild, what's the life expectancy? Would it just be,
That pump, we probably haven't worked on that pump, or had to have anything done to it for over 12 years. The pump itself is around 40 years old, but it's a good pump. I mean, you just don't really have too much problem with them, but we did have a bearing failure, and when you lose the bearing, you generally lose a mechanical seal, so.
makes sense?
The other piece of this is when we upgrade to the high-rate treatment facility in the path that we're looking, these pumps will no longer be needed at that point. So we don't have to have them go too many more years, and that technology will not be how the sand filter backwash process is handled anymore after that, so.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion to approve the rebuild and repair of the backwash or backflow
Backwash pump.
backwash pump as presented. Thank you.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve the rebuild and repair of the backwash pump as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I guess I have one thing for miscellaneous, and that is that Elijah shared with me the correspondence with the NPDES permit relative to the completion of a couple of our Northwest 13th Street project. And as we saw, that's been long going and also very expensive, both of those. While I cannot begin to understand the 198 pages of documents that came and charts, I just, if you could maybe summarize very briefly, because, I mean, basically what you're doing is proving out that what we set out to do has been accomplished with those funds, and so just.
Yeah, exactly. So part of our CSO long-term control plan that we're working through that began in 2010, a part of that plan is to do that, is basically to do post-construction monitoring that proves whether or not the projects that you did were successful or not. And so we've done that several times with our major projects over the years. The most recent ones that we completed were Northwest 13th Street and West Side Interceptor. And really, we looked at it as a whole. So as we moved into high rate treatment at our treatment plant and to try to figure out what size that needed to be, all that was based on how successful all the projects were that we've accomplished and built, over the past 15 years. And so we updated the model for our whole system and looked at that, and it basically has proved that, the design storms that we were designing to, when we did that monitoring after the projects were built, these sewers are expected to be able to handle the design storms that we designed around based on the post-construction modeling. The other thing that's good that maybe we should point out is as we looked at high rate treatment, the idea initially was that we were going to have to build a facility alongside our treatment plant to be able to handle 96 to 100 million gallons a day peak flow coming into the plant. And as we move forward with our high rate treatment project, we're actually looking at designing around 68 MGD or million gallons a day. So even though the project's gotten more expensive because of just how things have worked here, and construction cost, the project would be that much more expensive had we had to design it for that much more flow. So, overall, I think that shows, the projects we've built and the separation that we've done, it's all come together in a good way, something that we've built in a way that's efficient, but also for Richmond's future. I mean, we've tried to build sewers such that, any kind of expansion or development that happens around Richmond, the sewers that we're putting in are there for that. So it'll give us options, whether we're developing north side or east side or west side. Not that every sewer has capacity. There's still places that will need to be built for that. But overall, the things that we've done have proven to be what's been needed. So,
Thank you. Thanks to everybody for all the hard work on that. Anything else? Hearing nothing, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And I will second the motion. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.